Welcome to Seekers Sessions. We would like to share with you that in this series of podcasts, we have collaborated with our brothers and sisters from various backgrounds, such as musicians, educators, as well as advocates of social group.
So do catch us every week as we share our podcast session on Spotify with these great people of our world, and we hope to see you there.
Till then, may you have a blessed day ahead from all of us at Seekers Nest Media. See ya! Salam and greetings, friends and family, and welcome to Seekers Session. And together with me is Indra Sahib, and I am Shema Alkaf.
Yeah, welcome
Indra,
to the show.
Do you know that before we met, I was working in property.
Before it's like what? Like 5 years, 10 years before you met?
Eons ago lah.
Eons, wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, I was in property. I was, but I wasn't a property agent lah. I was in the media side. I was doing reporting. So I was working for a property magazine. Yeah, but I was hopeless lah.
Why?
Yeah, because I don't know. I never liked property. I find it's a very dry subject.
Okay, why?
Like,
what kind of articles do you write during your time there?
we wrote about like the trends, as in like the houses that were going up on sale, the market rate, you know, the how much it has gone down, how many percent, that kind of thing. And I thought it's very dry and very boring. So I realized it's not my thing lah.
It's not a cup
So
of tea,
I left and then I went into radio. And that was my calling. So yeah, but when we talk about something that is a calling for people, it's all about trial and error. You find out what's good for you, and then you move on from one career to a completely different career, and you know, and then that's where you realize that, hey, you know, actually I'm actually good at this, you know. So we have someone who's on board,
who specializes on this.
Yes, and he has a huge career switch.
Wow.
Yeah, and then we can have him to share a little bit about
his journey.
that and his journey as well. So let's welcome Nabeel.
Yay! Welcome Nabeel to Seekers Session.
Assalamualaikum.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullah.
How are you, brother, today?
Good. Thank you.
Thank you so much for coming down to our studio. I know you are a very busy man, right? With a very busy schedule, jam-packed schedule. So I'm very thankful and very grateful that you are able to make time for us.
Not a problem lah. I mean, at the end of the day, I also want to support my old friend. We've been, I think we've known each other more than 20 years.
I think, I first know Nabeel when I...
Sec 1.
Primary 6 to Sec 1. Primary 6, bro. Primary 6, bro. That's where we start our venture to become... we dream to be a football stars back then. But the star never shine. I don't know why. Maybe like that's how my wife said, we shine on other areas lah.
Yes, correct. Yes,
okay,
true.
so we want to actually let you share your success story also and your journey, because I know that previously you were was with I mean you are working you are working as a cabin crew, right?
Yes.
For quite some time.
Yeah.
Then after that transiting into property. So give us some light on that. You know, bring us back, you know, on your journey where why from cabin crew, right? Then you switch to property.
Okay. So, I mean, I want to keep this session as casual as possible and candid as possible.
All right.
So at least, you know, the listeners or people who know me and have been wanting to ask the question, malu nak tanya.
Okay.
They were a bit shy or you know. So it all boils down to how I started out being a cabin crew. Because I like Indra, you know, I really wanted to be a football star back then. I did go into the footballing business, but it wasn't for me because I was a more rebellious person. So
what kind of football business that you are doing or dealing with?
That time I was in the S League.
Oh, S League.
I was in the S League for 1 year.
Okay.
And then I always like my opinions to be heard. And it wasn't a good. It was a double-edged sword because certain people would like that kind of personality, but certain people don't. And it went down to a negative way where I wasn't selected for a particular team or particular match, and then I had enough because I told myself that kalau nak jadi footballer, if I wanted to be a footballer and it's not going to materialize of me being a national player, then I don't want to do it. So I left, and then that weekend we had an SI interview. Yeah, so I told my
okay.
parents, I said that, you know what, I don't want to play football anymore. I'm going to look for a job. Okay, so when I went for interview, the first 2 interviews were on the same day, and then I got another call 2 months later for a third interview, and altogether I think I had 4 interviews, and then I got the job. I was I was happy lah, because at the end of the day, like, hey, you know, it was something that I wanted to do. See the world and earn money also, right?
Yeah.
And then like, you know, time passed so fast that I was in the company for about 11 and a half years.
Wow.
Yeah, 11 and a half years. So that was my very first job lah. And I rose up the ranks quite gradually lah. Some people cakap, oh, you know, Nabeel, you're a high flyer. Not that I'm a high flyer, but I think I managed to go to the next rank at a shorter stipulated
Is
time.
that your nature? Like when
I think you were very passionate lah in what you do.
Macam,
Yeah.
I think at the end of the day, I want to do it as best as I can. If I can't, then at least I know, I put in my best effort.
Okay.
So that was
You're very clear about that. Yeah.
So for me, that was really important, and in anything that I do. So again, with all that, when we were younger, my lifestyle was a bit liberal. You know, and it's not because of my upbringing that wasn't good, my parents' fault, or no, it's nothing like that. It was all solely based on my own decisions. I think Indra, you would have known. You've seen me in like clubs or pubs, or, you know. But it is not something that I'm proud of. But at least it brought me to where I am today. Because at that point, just prior to me, because I was studying part-time at SIM when I was flying.
Okay.
And then I got my degree in mass comm.
Oh, okay.
And then people were saying like, don't worry, Nabeel, you know, you're being part of SIA, you'll definitely get a job elsewhere. But that wasn't the case, because I applied, maybe I sent out about 1,000 over resumes, and maybe I went for less than 10 interviews.
Right.
I see.
And in 2015, I think, I thought I was going to get a job. But the Chinese market crashed, and then they were not gonna hire anyone. So that was like very depressing moment, because I said like, you know, I've got my qualifications, but then nobody wanna hire me, because the jobs that I'm going for requires experience. And what more, like, especially for people who want to start out, if they don't have experience, it's very, very difficult.
Actually, that's kind of like the cliche that I hear, that when people are in the airlines, right, then they want to come out to get a job. It seems very difficult. It's customer service, right?
It's customer service, but then if you're going into a service line, then that's fine. But like, for example, if you're going to hotel, but if you're going to a different field, for example, finance sector, then it is very, very difficult, because they cannot quantify your experience in the airlines versus a bank, for example. So that was the tough part that I had. At that point, I met a couple of people who were doing insurance who did very well. A couple of property agents did very well. And then I met one guy in particular who was my first mentor in property. And then he said, like, you know what? Since you have time and you are the studious kind, why don't you just take the license, study for it, and then pass the license? So I said, okay lah. I mean, it's a no-brainer.
What have I got to lose?
Because at the end of the day, if I don't practice, it's knowledge gain for me. So I said, okay, no problem. I'm just gonna take the license. But there's only 2 papers that the reason why I chose property is because of this one-liner that people say. I don't want to offend any insurance agents out there, but they say that insurance agents will have to find clients. But property agents, clients find property.
Yes.
But I mean, after being in this line, it's actually not true lah. Cuma that is the kind of stigma that people
stereotype
say, stereotype. But again, I decided to go on property because the papers were lesser. There's only 2 papers for you to pass, but these 2 papers is a killer lah. So it took me a while to pass. I took 5 times. Then I passed my property license, and then it became like, okay, I want to put myself out there, and I don't, because there was this thing about being in a company, and then you want to do this part time because you have to declare.
Correct.
Which initially I thought like, okay, I'm just gonna declare, but there has to be a strong reason why you want to do this part time, which I didn't have. I just wanted extra income.
I see.
And then when I meddled with it for a while, being part-time, it was tough because I'm mostly away, but I'm serving clients in Singapore, and I always had to go back and forth with the client. And then it became like I have to tell them white lies why I'm overseas. Yeah. Then it was so difficult until at that point also I decided, like, you know what, I'm just gonna leave and then just start afresh. That was my calling. I mean, and also it came to a point where I wanted a different kind of lifestyle. Because after a while, not that the airlines is not good, but it takes a toll on your health.
Yes, it does. It does.
When you fly around and your body clock is so
loads of jet lag.
Your body clock, the air pressure.
And you will never get you will never get used to the jet lag because I sleep when I'm tired. I wake up when I'm not tired. So that sort of like that kind of lifestyle I didn't want anymore. And also the whole exposure to a lot of unwanted attention, which I told myself, you know what, I think for me to be a good person or to stay on the right path, I just need to do everything the right way.
Correct.
So when I decided to leave, it was quite a tough moment because I spent a third of my life in SQ.
I see.
I grew up there, you know.
You gain friends.
I make friends. I had the best of life there. Like, I get paid well. I traveled the world. So that transition, it was tough because I'm married. I have a lot of
commitments. True.
And then being self-employed is a totally different ballgame. But after a while, I just like I spoke to a couple of my friends and also seek my ustad's advice. And he just said that, you know, rezeki, rezeki is not yours to keep or not yours to
meddle with.
It's all from Allah.
True.
They say if he says have faith in him with whatever that you do, why are you worried? So I said, okay lah. I mean, so there was also like, you know, I always had this mentality like, you are self-employed, no, you don't have CPF, you don't have benefits and all. And there's only one liner by my ustaz, simple. Taxi driver is not worried, why you worry? So that was like, actually that's quite true. Being self-employed, all you need is self-discipline. So that was my transition lah, being a property agent, and then like successful, very subjective. It depends on what you deem a successful agent. I'm not a celebrity agent like some people, but then you know, I do enough to get by lah, so to speak.
Okay, talking about trying to achieve success, right? Especially in the beginning stage of your property career, what was it like? You know, when you transit into that property industry, and from your own eyes, right? How do you actually how do you actually learn the trade? You know, like you see, okay, that definitely is something new for me. I'm going to meet a lot of people day in, day out. So, you know, walk through us on that.
The challenges that you face in the beginning.
I think challenges is basically credibility lah. People want to engage you because they trust you, they trust your opinion, they know that you'll do a good job. That's the only thing. Apart from that, I think the next one is relationship building. If that person is okay with you or he trusts you enough to engage you, then at least it is something that you need to work on. And also putting yourself out there, because at one point I didn't like the idea of putting my face on posters or you know, like,
are you shy? Are you
shy? Sort of like but not shy, but embarrassed, I think.
Maybe for some people they don't like to be out there so much, you know. Because takut nanti macam when you are out there, like people will expect more. You know what I mean? So
correct,
then unnecessary pressure comes.
I see. So that was one lah, and it was tough because I really like to thank my first few clients, which was a couple of my friends, and I had some mistakes here and there. Like the thing about it is, being a property agent, you are dealing with a lot of sensitive things.
Yeah, true.
Sensitive information, especially when it comes to wealth, when it comes to money. It is, if you do a mistake, there's no service recovery. For example, if you were to sell a person's house and then they lose money, you cannot just say, sorry. You can't do that.
Yes. Okay. Actually, this is a perfect example. I need to share this. Okay. My mom's friend they wanted to sell the house.
Okay.
So the agent promised them. No, they say, okay, after this, you can get 30,000 in cash. So they were very happy. Okay, 15,000 for the husband, 15,000 for the wife, and then because they need to support the children education and all that, it's a lot of money. So gedebak-gedebuk dah jual rumah, then they end up bringing back only 2,000.
Oh wow!
So the rest of the 28,000,
difference,
apparently, it was put back into the CPF because the husband is above a certain
55.
age. So that's why. So then it affects your relationship with the property agent also because hey, you promised me this and that because the person who is the seller they don't know anything. You tell them you get to bring back money. Okay, I'm happy, and they will remember the money, the amount of money that you promised them. So that becomes it's a serious issue.
It's a serious issue.
So it affects relationships.
Is it boils down to I just want to pose this question to you. Is it boils down to
knowledge?
No, not just knowledge. I mean unresolved calculated factor here.
It boils down to knowledge is one lah. But I think it's also good if, for example, you can cross check with your senior guys. One thing that people or they don't like to do is to ask questions, seek advice, because they feel like, if I ask my senior, then they think like I'm not capable like that. But for me, I have nothing to be shy about.
Correct.
If I don't know, I don't know. No matter how it is, I still have to learn something.
Because you're dealing with people here.
Correct. And it's different
Serious
because if in SIA, when I was in the airlines, if you spill a drink, I can always say, I'm sorry, I changed the top for you, or I get you a t-shirt or whatever. But with money, you can't do that. Are you going to pay that balance 28,000?
Correct.
You can't. So that is something that I was a bit more careful about.
True.
I had to ask a lot of questions. But I think back to the first question, the credibility building was a tough part for me. Because I needed to tell, for example, I say, Shima, I'm a property agent. Then I had told Indra, I'm a property agent. But then people will always say, okay, I mean, if I need, then I will look for you lah. But you see, you will always want to look for someone that you are closer with because you know the capability of that person.
Yeah, true.
And it also comes down to one thing. When I was trying to market myself, I've got a friend whose uncle who had a unit to sell at that point, and it was about 4 or 5 million worth. That kind of unit.
Wow.
And private unit.
Okay.
And his question to me was simple. Nabeel, I'm glad that you're doing property, but why should I hire you to manage my property when you just started? Do you know how to manage a 4 or 5 million kind of quantum? So at that point, I'm like, how? Then, my answer to that was, if you don't give me this opportunity, then how are we to find out? But he laughed it off, and he didn't engage me lah, because to him it was a matter of making an X amount of dollars or losing an X amount of dollars. So he wanted to be a little bit more careful, which I understand. But after a while, I think
you don't take it personal
And taking it personal also is a lot of dealing inside. Especially when you see your friends, close friends, engaging somebody else instead of you. How are you going to deal with that emotionally? It's very, very difficult. But you have to, at the end of the day, I think us being Muslims, we are blessed with the fact that we always say, it's okay, it's not our rezeki.
Correct. Itu rezeki dia lah.
This is rezeki, and it's fine. Correct. And that allowed me and assisted me to move on.
Comfort you lah.
Like in the flash lah. Macam, tak apalah, it's okay. Because you have to understand that if he engaged another person, somebody else will engage me. Maybe his family member will engage me. Something like that, lah.
Okay.
Yeah, it goes
So you always believe in that.
I believe in that
value, lah.
Yeah.
So okay, we have a question from our viewers.
Wait, before we go into the Q&A lah,
No,
maybe.
this question is about relating to his early path in
Oh, is it?
property.
Okay.
So so let me read out because it's quite a long list of question that people post on our FB.
A lot,
Okay.
yeah.
Question from Ong Jian Yuan. Okay. So he asks. Okay, just hold on. Could he or she? Okay, I mean he here. All right. Could he share about how he start out as an agent where you just did, and what would he old self given a chance to go back in? What would he tell his old self given a chance to go back in time? That means definitely there's a lot of mistake that you have done in the early. Thank you, Ong, for your question. So we want to pose this question for Nabeel.
What I would change, I think the advice that I would give myself is to not idle too much. Idling is like, because when I was in the airlines, right, you don't bring work back home.
I see.
So when you are on land, like either in Singapore or in other countries, it's like switch off, Yeah. So what I used to do was just like YouTube the whole day.
Okay.
Just watching videos after the next thing I know, it's time for bed.
Slack. Netflix.
That sounds like somebody I know actually. I know very well. Yeah.
Who by the way?
You need to reflect who is that person. Okay.
But back then there was no Netflix. It was all about downloading shows.
Yeah.
So I would feel that I would tell myself, you shouldn't idle too much, because just look for opportunities, because opportunities is out there, and how you can benefit from it lah.
Because time is so precious, you know. And then they say this famous saying, idle is the devil's playground.
Oh, really?
Yes. Yeah, that means you're wasting time lah.
Yeah. And like what you said, I mean, time is so precious now that I think we are mid-30s, inching mid-30s. It's very, very fast.
Yeah, true.
Looking back, I was just reading this meme a few days ago. They said that 20 years ago is actually in the 90s.
Wow.
No, actually 2000, year 2000.
Yeah.
20 years ago.
Right, the 2000s.
So for me, in my mind, 20 years ago is when I'm 1980 something. That's 20 years ago. So time really passed.
Yeah, it is, bro. I mean, when we talk about time, that definitely is something that for us to reflect. And you yourself, moving from being a cabin crew, then transiting into property, how long does it take for you to get accustomed with the trade itself? I mean, how much time do you take for you to get used to that kind of routines?
Okay. In terms of routine wise, I gave myself the whole of 2019 to set a routine, but it took me maybe 4-5 months to get into a certain kind of schedule and timetable, because there was a lot of things, especially when I turned full time. I wanted to go for this course, somebody's giving a talk, somebody's giving a seminar, I want to do this. So it was too much.
Too overwhelming.
Because the learning curve is very steep. I always felt that I was lacking behind when I'm actually not lacking behind. I'm just, trying to cover too many things at one time. So as an agent, I think for aspiring agents as well, you should have a focus on what you want to do. For example, like for me in particular, my focus is residential. I don't touch commercial office spaces and all. Even if I have friends who ask me, then I will work based on referral. But if you ask me to focus on office, I don't know, because there's a different specs and different requirements to it. So that is something that people, or for me, that's what I do. But again, there are also people who only focus on one component of residential. They only do HDB only. Some people, they only do condominiums only. Some people only do landed property. So there is a different focus, because at the end of the day, you need to be a specialist in something.
Okay.
But for me, it's more of specialist in dealing with whatever issues a client has. For example,
Okay.
selling and buying, selling this and buying two, or that kind of issues lah. Yeah, I
Right.
don't really have like a specific, like I am involved with projects also. I'm involved with resale development. So I don't, my focus is just residential lah.
Wow.
Yeah, it's better lah, because if not, you're too ambitious,
Yeah.
like, then you're all over the place, and then furthermore, you've got family back home, that kind of thing, so it's not easy lah. Yeah.
Man, talking about family, man, how man, definitely for you to transit from being a cabin crew to property itself and venturing into property, and then with your own drive and with your own determination that you want to succeed in this line, how much it is like, I mean, in terms of the importance of your family support for your venture here?
I think it's very, very important. I mean, I'm married, so I have the support of my wife to actually, she understands my drive behind why I work so hard, because I want to be successful.
Yeah.
But also, I mean, I'm guilty of it, of sometimes not focusing on what's in front of me. Like sometimes I always have to like apologize to her, because I say like, I need to do this, I need to do that, which I think she understands, but I know deep down she says like, hey, then waste my time. It's our family time.
That's
Right.
right.
Yeah.
Like again, I think if she were to listen to this, I mean, like I
She would,
I definitely would want to, set, I mean, proper time to just spend time together. But
Yes.
at the end of the day, at the back of my mind, whenever I have the opportunity or the chance that I have a free time, it's always for her.
Right.
Let's go out together. Like if I have some free time, after lunch or something, then I'll say, hey, let's go like jalan-jalan.
Do you set specific days?
I try
As in,
to.
Like we work 9 to 5, Monday to Friday. So do you set like Saturday, Sunday off, or
I
a
try to.
certain day?
Yeah, I try to. It's just that when the calling comes, it's very difficult for me to set a date. For example, like next week, maybe Wednesday, I don't have anything on.
Right.
So I would save that day. Like, okay, maybe I'll just do housework, or maybe I'll just take her out. But then suddenly someone calls, hey,
for appointment.
can I meet you at 2 p.m? Then it spoils the whole routine. So that portion I really gotta take hats off to my wife lah.
I think that's something that your wife also has to anticipate.
Yes.
That okay,
I
my
think
husband
so,
is he's free today, but I cannot be so sure. I have to be prepared, because sometimes when people get caught off guard, like they think that today I get to spend time with my husband, then suddenly you also will like lose your mood.
Correct.
Like,
Yeah.
tak best, that kind of thing.
I understand.
I know.
And also like I try my best, like especially when we are, and I'm always contactable. And when I'm with her, I try my best not to use my phone lah.
Yeah, correct.
Unless I mean like
Urgent matters lah.
if it works, if it's about work, then it's different. But like sometimes we get carried away scrolling Facebook, Instagram,
correct.
and I always try to make a conscientious effort when I'm doing that. I shouldn't do it. I should just spend my time, because being away with her, it's even though it's not like I'm away overseas, but it's just the time spent together lah.
Talking about like your shared principles and value on striving for success. I mean, definitely it has to be translated to you, to your wife, right? And your wife have to understand fully why you are very committed. So probably maybe allow me to ask this question to you, and maybe you can share with our viewers and listeners. What is your principles in terms of striving for success? What is your key, right, in terms of people have the different elements on that part, right?
Okay.
So maybe what on a personal basis, what is your own?
Okay, for me, the only reason why I always try for something much more or something better is not that I'm not appreciative of what I have, but I'm just worried about being lazy. Yeah, that is what I'm worried about. Like macam, if I don't work hard or I don't aim higher or further, then jadi macam pemalas. Like I'll just like everything I will always say like okay lah, no problem lah. Enough.
Are you that kind of person where you always want to improve further?
Yes,
in the game, or macam
anything. Anything that I do try to improve further. But there will be a point where you can't do as much because it's beyond your control.
Yeah.
But at least I'm trying. I'm trying. Keep on trying. Because, like I said, that is the only thing that I'm worried about. Like when I become contented, and then I feel like everything I have achieved, like okay that's it. That's the epitome of everything.
Yeah.
I've done it, and I don't want to be like that lah. Yeah.
I mean, I would say that would be like macam complacency.
Macam complacent.
Yeah.
Which is scary.
Yeah, true. Yeah. I mean, we don't want to be very comfortable with our current situation right now, especially.
We always want to improve lah.
Yeah.
Especially in the year of 2020, where we witness ourselves this great pandemic that is unfolding right in front of our own eyes. So definitely it teaches us this lesson lah. This lesson where we have to be ready, to get accustomed with changes along the way.
Yeah.
So before we move to Q&A, right? What is your message to young or newcomers in the property industry? And for them, they also dying to know, hey bro, how what kind of advice you can give to us, So before we move to Q&A session from our
because
viewers.
it can be a saturated market, you see, property. Like there's property agents everywhere. You get flyers, we get flyers at our house, with this agent, but then you find that macam, I would want to be a bit more personal with my agent and not contact an agent from a flyer. How well do I know this guy or this woman, that kind of thing.
Correct.
Yeah, correct.
So I think the advice is just to execute what you plan to do, because a lot of people have a lot of plans, but the execution is lacking. For example, they say, okay, I'm gonna do Facebook posting about whatever reasons, but then the getting to posting it on Facebook never happened because they are planning it. Oh, I'm supposed to do it in this color. So that is something that I think if they want to be in this industry, they need to execute whatever that they plan to do. Like for example, I think it goes the same way of how you guys doing it, like this Seekers Media thing. If you never execute this setup, you will not do it. You will only be planning how to do it until today.
Procrastinate.
Procrastinate, and then
I know. By the way, I know that person who always plan but never execute. Okay,
it's okay lah. It's better than watching YouTube for the whole day and then housework not done.
But I think at the end of the day, there will never be a perfect plan. You will always find ways to tweak around, improve this. So that's my advice to them. And don't be
afraid,
and don't be blinded by the fact that there are so many people who are like millionaire agents and all, because these are good and these are all the highlights, but you don't know what are the struggles that they go through to be there.
Correct.
And it's not all roses. In any industry. Even for me as well, like there will be months that I go without getting paid because I have deals, but it's not closed yet.
Okay.
So if I close that deal, then my pay will only be credited to me in the next 2 to 3 months.
Okay.
So for you to get, sometimes you will be in that stage. Because I ever, like maybe in last year, there was 2 months that I didn't close anything. So I was getting worried, the bills to pay and all. So
Correct.
Then after that, when I said like, you know what, the deal will come, and then the next following month, I closed like a 5-figure deal.
Wow.
Then I'm like, okay. So it covers the rest of the months.
I mean, that's you have to plan. You have to strategize.
Correct.
You have to go in with a proper game plan.
Yes.
Like Nabeel mentioned, right? Do not plan blindly, act blindly. So okay. So with that, right? We're gonna take a short break for a while, and we're going to go in for a Q&A.
Okay.
So for our viewers, do not go anywhere, right? And listeners, do not go anywhere. We'll be right back after this, right? welcome back to Seeker Session. Okay, just a shout out. This episode is brought to you by your top property advisor, Nabeel. Alright, from Nabeel Associates. And for appointments, you can please call 82300300. Yeah. So we have our property advisor here.
Yes.
Which is Mr. Nabeel, right? And he's going to answer questions from our viewers and listeners. So we have a list of questions. So be prepared, yeah? May the force be with you.
He will try his best.
I'll try my best. I don't know everything, but I'll try my best.
No, I'm just pulling his leg, okay? When can you actually disturb a friend, right? So now is the opportunity. Okay, so we have a first question from our listeners here. Sorry, just hold on. Okay. Question number 1. Can I buy a house that is not my ethnic quota? Any way to go around it?
Okay, so first we need to understand the purpose of ethnic quota. The reason why they have quotas for ethnicities is because they don't want to have a congregation of a particular race in a particular area.
Okay, I
so
see.
that's the purpose of it.
Right.
So any way to go around it, I don't think so. Unless your spouse is of a different race. That is another way to go. Find another spouse.
If let's say if I go to the MP, I write into the MP.
You can write into the MP, but then whether HDB allows it, that's another story.
Okay, I see.
Because a letter of recommendation, I've heard of houses having an ethnic quota restriction being sold to that particular ethnic quota race because of certain exceptions.
I see.
Yeah. For example, his race is Chinese.
Okay.
Okay, the guy's race is Chinese, but he is half Chinese, half Indian.
Oh.
And he is more attuned to his Indian part of his heritage.
Okay.
So these are very 50-50
cases,
and case-to-case basis.
Right.
So I can't say how to go around it because there is actually no way to go around it. But the purpose of ethnic quota is something that we need to understand why it was first being put in place.
So if let's say his mother is staying in that block, he wants to move into that block. Then the ethnic quota comes
they will give you an alternative where why don't you move in together with your mother?
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So we have we move on to the second question, right? Okay. Hi. Can I buy a property while owning a HDB house?
You can. You can do that provided that your HDB loan is if you want to take up a full loan for your next house, you need to pay off your HDB loan first. Okay. But if you have a HDB loan still with the current house or your HDB house and you want to purchase your next property, the next property has to be a private property.
It cannot be another HDB.
So that means I can't own 2 HDB houses at one go.
No, HDB. Okay. Then we boil down again. I like to bring to the basis of it.
Okay.
HDB houses are public housing. They are subsidized housing, and they're the cheapest in the market versus landed property, private property. So the purpose of a HDB house is to home families, not to make money.
Okay. Yeah.
So when you have a HDB unit, let's say if it's fully paid and you have some extra money you want to purchase your private property, you can, with the exception of you paying an additional buyer stamp duty. Additional buyer stamp duty is on top of the normal buyer stamp duty. It's like a tax that you have to pay for a property. So like for yourself, you've paid buyer stamp duty for your HDB house, but for your next one, it's additional buyer stamp duty, which is at 12%. And 12% if a property is worth 1 million, it's worth 120,000 in
It's
cash.
a lot, say bro.
Yeah, if you don't have enough CPF, you have to pay it in cash.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right. Oh, actually, this is a good example. A friend of mine and his fiance they are both high flyers. So gaji like maybe 10K or around there. So they haven't got married yet lah. So he's already above 35. So he bought his own HDB flat.
Yeah.
And his fiance bought a condo. Very smart move, right? So that when they get married, maybe she move into the HDB, then the condo they can rent out. It's like a passive income for them or something. I don't know.
Technically, it's not okay because when you are married, the HDB you have to put your spouse as the occupier.
Okay. Have to. Cannot
Have to.
like.
It's obligatory.
Is because you need.
Right.
So for them, they're gonna be in a sticky situation. As a property advisor, they need to declare.
And that they have a private property.
They have a private property and then do the necessary
Transition. Wow.
Okay.
Because they are not the first and they are not the last.
Okay, so
There'll be
this
more.
is common lah. This is common
This is
actually.
common. This is common,
okay.
especially in today's day and age where a lot of us are getting married at a later age.
Yeah, correct.
Yeah.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, so they plan for their own life first before together.
Yeah.
Versus those who marry younger, they plan together with their spouse all the
correct.
way up.
I see.
Yeah, this is called career over family lah. Okay, we have our next question from our viewer. Right? Okay, how many times limited can I get HDB loans? If second time I already use HDB loans, I heard third time cannot use HDB loans. Is it true?
Who's this person? The English.
Yeah.
It's okay. Okay, I mean, I get the question.
Yeah.
You can get 2 HDB concessionary loans in a lifetime.
Two.
Two
Okay.
concessionary loan. But of course, I've heard of people getting a third, even a fourth HDB loan before.
Wow.
But that is also, like I said, case-to-case basis. It doesn't apply to everybody. Even if with this, if you are listening to us right now, me saying it doesn't guarantee you like, okay, when you go for an appeal, they will give you no. Yeah. So in actual fact, there's only twice that you can get.
I see.
So that's why they say like after you move 2 times, the third time cannot. Like see for my mum, shift house from Bedok, then Bedok North shift. So that's one shift, and after that move to Bedok Reservoir, the second one. So they cannot. I think my mum was saying they cannot sell the house
They have to stay
anymore.
put already,
They have to stay put already where they are because cannot get the loan lah.
Yeah, it depends on if they need the loan. If they don't need, then they don't have to take a loan.
Right.
Yeah.
But who have that kind of cash?
Yeah lah,
right?
that's why lah.
Because sometimes from the proceeds of the current house, and if they're gonna downgrade, then there's no loan involved.
Oh,
Only
yeah.
the profits from that house
Yeah.
might not be as much lah.
If they move into that kind of flat yang macam apa tu 30 years punya lease,
Or they
like
downgrade
the
lah.
one room one hall, you know, for
From
old
a 5 room,
couples.
from a 5 room, they downgrade to a 3 room ke, or studio apartment.
Correct.
Yeah, studio apartment, correct.
Yes.
So definitely it will waive off everything, bro.
Not definitely. It depends also.
Oh, depends.
It depends.
Okay, wow, this is very subjective.
It's very subjective because
right.
like doesn't mean you downgrade from a 5 room to a 3 room. Your 3 room is fully paid. Doesn't work that way because I have to see at which point you purchase that 5 room unit.
And how much balance loan that they still have to pay.
Correct. So that all plays a part. Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Question number 4.
So it's not even a question.
Okay. This one is from our Facebook viewers. You know, they just storming into the post feed.
We love you all lah, actually.
Yeah, okay.
Don't worry. We
For
love
those-
you all. Yeah, it's just that I'm trying to understand the question.
And I cannot name them right one by one because too many of them.
Yeah.
So the 4th question is money make money scheme. Ayo ah. I think this one.
Money make money scheme.
What do you?
What is it exactly?
What
What
is
is
it?
this money make money scheme?
I myself don't know.
I
Not sure.
think there's always a flag of us property agents trying to be creative with our marketing. Okay, so we have like advertisements where sell 1 buy 2.
Sell 1 flat, buy 2 flats.
No, sell 1 flat, buy two condos.
Oh,
Wow.
Oh,
That will
there
never
is
be
such
us
marketing
lah.
strategy,
There is certain and
Really?
and it can happen. It can happen. It's just that
Wow.
It will never happen to us.
no, never say never.
Never say never.
Yeah.
Okay. Never say never. See?
Because
Liverpool
it doesn't apply to everyone, and when it doesn't apply to them in particular, then they say, "Ayah, cannot lah. It's not all bluff one lah."
I see.
No, it's not that. So there is something that people have to understand. It is the same thing like if you're marketing whitening lotion, and then when you use it, your face don't get fairer. Then you say that this thing doesn't work. So it doesn't work for everyone. Correct, right? So that is
Probably
something.
won't work for you lah.
I'm burned. Okay? I'm burned really.
Too much football.
Yeah,
Okay.
so that is something that I had to put it out there lah. Yeah, money make money. You can make money out of it.
Yeah.
It's just how you're gonna do it. That's another story. Yeah.
Right.
But this is always the myth. Like just now, what Nabeel mentioned. Because HDB is for public to home the public, right?
Yes.
And this is also it's been a dying question where everyone always keep on asking, year in year out. In fact, every time, where can you really make money out of your own HDB property?
Okay. So that is also a subjective question.
Yeah, true.
You can. It really depends on at which point you purchase the unit. Yeah.
So it depends on the I mean, how old is your unit?
How old is your unit? There's a lot of factors that entails the whole make money.
What comes into your estate? What kind of facilities that is being facilitated to your estate? No, I see. Okay, so which question should we?
Okay, we
go?
have another question.
Okay, Shema, let's go.
Actually,
Let's
previously,
do it.
okay, we already Nabeel already answered the question that you asked from Facebook already. So
Yeah.
this one is how to prevent from topping up cash in the future as we grow older. Our CPF contribution is lesser. What is your tips and advice as we only have average amount of money in the CPF?
Okay.
It's a concern,
It is a concern because at the start, you see, there's never a right or wrong answer in terms of purchasing a property.
Okay.
Because the needs of a family is different. For example, if you purchase a jumbo flat,
Okay.
and this jumbo flat is already 40 years old, but you have a family of 7 people,
Okay.
Okay.
which to me is not a wrong move.
Yeah.
It is a right move because it feeds it fits the needs of that family in particular. you see.
Yeah.
So for this question in retrospect, you need to understand that there is this thing called the withdrawal limit for CPF. So CPF will have a withdrawal limit of how much you can withdraw to pay your mortgage.
Okay.
If your CPF is little, your loan is a lot, and you buy an old property,
Yeah.
this is what happens.
I see.
At the tail end of your mortgage, for example, you take 25 years,
Okay.
right? Maybe after the 21st year, then your 22nd, 23rd, 24th, 25th year, you have to pay it in cash.
Wow.
But you also have to understand that at that age, right, how old are we? We are usually about 50s, close to 60s.
60s, yeah.
Right.
Every dollar
Matters,
it matters.
Yeah,
Yeah,
true.
So
yeah.
at the start, when you purchase, the agent I mean, the person that is advising you has to tell you about all this that's going to happen. You see,
Okay.
like for me, I always like whenever I talk with our peers around our age, I always tell them to look far. And you see, like right now we are healthy,
Yeah.
we are okay,
Yeah.
our kids are young, you know. But when we get at that age,
Yeah.
are we still able? Are we healthy?
Yeah.
Our kids gonna get married?
Yeah.
Yeah. So these are the things that we have to take into consideration. But for a lot of us, we always say, that one later can talk. Which is not wrong also, because
Yeah.
for some people that no, I want to ensure that my family is comfortable,
It's well sheltered now.
well sheltered now. Later then talk.
Yeah. True.
So that is a
Gotta be
very
realistic.
very different. And me as an agent or a property advisor, I always tell them the difference between the two.
Yeah.
Let them see it and then you make the decision. I only tell you what is going to happen.
I see. Yeah.
It's like buying a property that's above your budget lah. Like for example, right now if our property is 400,000, then we want to buy a flat that is 600,000, but it's move-in condition, so for the renovate, so you don't need to worry about renovation. But you're thinking about when we grow older, how are we gonna pay for
Correct.
it?
Yeah.
You know?
Correct. Yeah.
Correct.
Okay, I just want to ask you, Nabeel, would you agree that from your own discretion, right, assessing your own buyers and sellers, do you think that the nature of our community here, they are divided into these two groups, where some are very short-term oriented and most of them are all maybe like very long-term oriented when coming to buying a house?
It is actually 50-50.
A mixture lah.
A mixture,
I see.
Where some people feel that they don't really care about what's going to happen when they are older, because to them, they have other plans. Like I always advise them, like,
I see.
a certain property that you're going to purchase might be your last property that you're going to purchase. And if you intend to sell it in future, because the tenure is going to be lesser, your pool of buyers is lesser. Are you okay with that? Then they will say like, oh, I'm okay with that, because on the side I have some savings, I have my retirement plan. Then okay. Yeah, so it has got to go with everything, because buying a house is not so much about just a house, but at the end of the day, do you have enough money to support support yourself? Because I'm not saying that we cannot depend on our kids, but if our kids are struggling as well, then how?
Yeah,
true.
It's true lah. It's true. Yeah, we don't want to depend on our children lah. As much as possible. Correct.
I mean, when come to buying a house, definitely there's a lot of factors that we need to take into consideration, and especially the future itself. You know, but again, going back to my question, the reason why I asked this is that when a lot of our community out there, right, they are just very short-term minded. Just say, okay, I just want to make money lah, or maybe short-term, maybe okay, I just want to see myself in the next 5 years, not in the next 30 years or in the long run, right? So definitely, if you encounter this kind of buyer and seller, what would be your own approach and what would be your advice to them?
Okay, my approach has always been neutral, and I always give them alternatives. So at least they see like, hey, okay, I can do this, I can do that. So, and I will never force them into a decision. Because at the end of the day, this is your decision. I am here just to tell you what approach you can put in, or which steps that you can take. If you're going to go for plan A, this is how you do it. If you're going to go for plan B, this is how you do it. So that is something that we must be a little bit more well-versed lah. Then you will know how to do things. If not, then it's going to be difficult.
Talking about well-versed, right? So that means here you trying to mention or trying to say that you are going to provide the best of your service in order to reach your client's objective lah.
Correct. Correct. Yeah.
Okay, I see. So that's basically that's the main goal lah, bro.
Yes, that's the main goal. Yeah.
But of course, when you say it's sensitive, right, then it's about delivering your messages very tactfully, so that
correct.
orang tak ambil hati,
true.
because it's very sensitive lah. Sometimes people also don't like macam their own information being exposed.
Definitely.
Even salary also, some people don't like to declare. But they have to. True.
Exactly.
Wow.
We've learned so much,
Yeah, we've learned so much. MashaAllah. I think we have a very good session with Mr. Nabeel in the house.
Thank you.
Before we actually give you
jangan feeling Mr. X lah you.
So no lah. I just love to make sounds lah. Okay, give me a chance lah. Okay, I know that I will not have any radio job, so yeah lah. Let me have feeling jadi radio, kan?
You never know, man.
No. Yeah, my wife used to be in radio, so she got the hang of it lah. She got the feel of it. But this is my moment, okay?
Okay. Go ahead.
Just a shout out. Okay, this episode is brought to you by your top number one property advisor, Mr. Nabeel, right? From Nabeel Associates. And for appointments, you can call him at 82300300. And before we end this session, last words from our special guest, right? Maybe words of wisdom to our viewers and listeners who are listening on a general perspective, because the topic for today is about success on a general also. So word of wisdom from our special guest Nabeel.
There are certain things, like I said, measuring success is different to everyone. And one thing that I think we should always look into is our own faith. Be it you're a Muslim, you're a Christian, just have faith in the process, and do not lose sight of what your goal is. So if your goal is to go straight, then do not lose sight of it. Because you can always deviate anytime, and the chance for you to actually digress is so simple. And try your best to just go forward lah.
Wow.
It's true because I mean, like YouTube, all these things are very distracting. Like imagine you have that 1 hour. No, I'm just saying in general. You have that 1 hour. Like we have, like when you say you have a goal, right? Okay, you have a goal. Having a goal is one thing. Working on it is another thing. So and working on it, you need that time. So that time, that's where it's very precious.
In my defense, right, YouTube have a lot of tutorials where I myself learn. And to be honest, the Seeker's Nest setup here is all I learned from YouTube.
It's a really good setup. Really good setup. Really.
From the audio, from the editing and everything. Okay, so kudos to YouTube.
Give YouTube a shout out.
Give YouTube a shout out. Okay, but nevertheless, thank you so much, Nabeel, for coming down to Seeker Session.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
Really appreciate your kind inputs and wise advice. We hope to have you again, inshallah. So all the best for your future endeavors.
Thank you.
And may more success come to you, bro.
Inshallah.
Thank you.
So for our viewers out there, thank you, and listeners out there, thank you for listening and viewing and tuning up to us. And please stay tuned on our next episode of Seeker's Session.
Don't forget to support.
Do not forget to like and share, and do not forget to support our Patreon page. I will give the description link below. And please stay tuned to our next episode, inshallah. Okay, so till then, signing off from Seeker's Session, I'm Indra Sahib.
And I'm Shima Alkaf.
Right, see you then.